Hi, this is Alexis for week 10, JavaScript and DOM manipulation. The assignment was to make a HTML bootstrap and JavaScript page that basically takes some user input and puts it into a table. So the first thing on my page says, welcome, what is your name? So I can put Alexis. It uses my name and says Alexis birthday planning list. So this is if I'm trying to keep track of everyone's birthday this year. So you could say the 25th. Jesus. I don't know, maybe he wants like a candle. Everybody likes scented candles. We create that. You can see here is all the information I just entered and this action of completed, but let's just throw someone else in there. Everyone knows someone named Steve, right? And everybody loves getting socks for Christmas, so. Alright, now let's say we got this candle for Jesus completed. Removed, nice. So got those socks removed. Alright, so that is my little app. Let's look at the code for that. So in this sheet, I'm linked to the Bootstrap CSS styling. This prompt name ID is referenced in the JavaScript. That's what produces this up here. Look at that in a sec. Here's some Bootstrap styling for the body. Some class, the card class is used to create this nice card box, and then did a little bit of styling for the columns and rows. The form group is used to make all of the elements kind of fit together a little nicer. Down here I created my button, and the add is the ID for that because that's going to be used to add to the list. A little bit more styling. And finally down here I have the HTML table with the ID of list. Some more styling, these various headers that you can see. And I use the little hover styling from Bootstrap to make it light up as the mouse goes over it, and then the rest of the linking to the scripts down here. In the JavaScript document, the first thing it does is when the window loads is it runs this function that shows the prompt that we just saw asking for the name, and then whatever the user inputs becomes this name variable, and it's concatenated to the rest of the text you see up here, and that is referenced in the HTML document by that prompt name. So that's how it's plugging it in up here. Okay, and then here in this section, set an ID to 0 because that is used later for incrementing. And here, it's adding in these cells when the event listener detects that the user has clicked on that button, because this add references the button in our HTML down here. So anytime that button is clicked, it is going to run this function where basically it takes the date that the button is pressed, because there's no argument inside of here. It initiates that as the created date. The table is referenced to the ID of list in the HTML document, which is down here, so it's using that. And then inside of the table we're going to be inserting these rows, and they're starting at position 1 since the headers are at position 0. Setting a row attribute so it can correctly reference these rows, and then here in the row method insert cell, it's inserting these cells in each of the rows at these different positions, and again it's referencing these IDs from the HTML. So new birth date, for example, can be found right here. It's in this first column in the first row, so that's where it'll be placing that value. And then kind of the same idea for the next two, and then the bottom one is where that created date with that current date information, I'll be using the current month and date and year of the time the button is pressed. Then here is this actions column that it's referencing. It's inserting a cell there and setting equal to actions, and the child is appended to that, which is discussed below. And it's just passing the incremented ID value from this function, and it's being passed into the create delete button. So basically it's just making sure it's referencing the correct row when we're pressing the button to delete it. And it's again just referencing the new birth date value. So finally at the bottom, this function that we appended up here onto the parent element is the create delete button, and it takes the ID and passes that in as the argument. So here is referencing the button element. Okay, so within this function with this argument passed in, we're creating another element called button and setting it equal to btn button. The class name is button. That's using the bootstrap styling again for that button within that action column, and using the ID. The inner HTML is completed, which is why it says that on the button. And then once this button is clicked, this function is run, which takes the element ID, or I'm sorry, the item ID that was assigned above, making sure it's matching that row that the button is located on, and it's removing the child element from it. So that's all it's doing, and then it's returning the button at the end.